Good morning, everybody. It's about like 5:30 a.m. right now. and yeah, just finished doing everything, like my usual morning routine, exercising, cleaning up the house, and finished up with everything. Now I have a few minutes to make a quick video before the kids wake up. Thank you so much for everybody, all the new subscribers, everyone that's interested in listening to and watching me talk about my experiences in Cambodia. I feel like it's interesting because not a lot of Khmer Americans are able to experience what I have been experiencing. So I just want to share everything that I'm going through with you guys because I know that there's a lot of Khmer Americans who want to come visit, but they haven't had a chance to because they're so busy. But it's okay. I'm going to show you as much as I can and all the things that I experience, okay? So today, I'm here in my class, my school right now. The only place I can find to where I can speak loud and clear, because if I'm in the house doing it, I'll wake the kids up, and I don't want them to wake up too early, because if they wake up too early, it's going to be a bad day. All right, so one thing that this topic today I want to talk about is Khmer people and their superstitions, right? So I'm pretty sure a lot of Khmer Americans, when they were growing up, they heard their parents talk about superstitions, right? Like they believe that there's some kind of spirit or higher being that protects them, or some kind of spell that they got and received to like make them bulletproof or inflammable, or they can't be cut by a knife, it won't cut through their skin, there's all kinds of different superstitions, And I remember hearing that from my parents too, because you know how when we first arrived in America, it was just right after the Khmer Rouge, all the genocide and everything. And whenever the old folks, whenever they gathered together, you would hear them, have stories about, what happened during the Khmer Rouge, how, there were bullets flying at them, and people wouldn't get hit, and for some reason, they had like some kind of spell to like help protect them, And I used to listen to those stories, and I was like, whoa, as a kid, you hear things and you listen, and you believe it, But then when I got older, I started, thinking to myself, like, man, you guys are crazy, because you know how we once we start going to school, we start learning about science, and we start adapting to like American culture. It's like, man, our parents are crazy, But the reason why I want to talk about that is because once we start to get used to like American culture and everything, we don't believe in stuff like that anymore. We just say like, our parents, they experienced something traumatic, and so they have to explain how it happened, There's no explanation for you to live through a war zone, walking through fields and seeing like, crossing over dead bodies. Like you can't explain how you survived. The only explanation for that is just like, man, something was protecting me, or some sort of spell that I had was given to me, and I'm able to survive. So yeah, but this is something that I want to share with you guys because, living here in Cambodia, you still see it. Like a lot of people are afraid of ghosts. They still believe that ghosts exist. Like for us, we'll watch ghost movies, horror movies, and it won't affect us at all. But the people here, if you show them like this type of horror movies, like the gore and the different types of ghosts that we are used to seeing on movies, they are scared shitless here to watch like a horror movie, And I try to understand why. Like why are they so afraid to watch horror movies, and why do they believe in ghosts so much, And it just goes to show that they're still superstitious, and they're still superstitious because you can't explain some things that happen in Cambodia. You can't really explain, like how people live through like different types of wars and different, like shootings and grenade attacks and all that. And so I'll share an experience with you guys about my something that I had, I could say it was like supernatural to me. Okay, so this is something that I want to show you guys here. This is a 40 millimeter grenade launcher shell. Okay, this was found while we were digging up a sewage pit, right? A sewage pit in the front. Our shop has a bathroom also. So this is a spent shell here, right? A spent shell. It was about like a meter deep in the ground. So when we were digging up the pit for the sewage, they found this. So this is a spent shell from a grenade launcher. And like I said, this area right here, they say that the Khmer Rouge, they lost power in 1975, right? But to be honest with you, they were still active, because once they disbanded and fled the city, they came out into the countryside. And so this area right here was a hot zone where they hid, and they still had all their weapons, still had all their ammunition, and they still knew how to fight. And at the time, the Khmer military, they were afraid of the Khmer Rouge, because the Khmer Rouge, they were like, guerrilla fighters, they knew how to fight. And this whole area right here, my dad, all my family here would tell me about, the fighting that was going on. Like, it was a hot zone. Like 1975, just because they fled the city doesn't mean that they stopped fighting. So this here is proof of that, okay? And the people here, they're still, they still remember it like it was yesterday, all the fighting that was going on. So the Khmer Rouge, they came out here, because this area right here where I live at now was nothing but jungle, woods, there weren't any people around here. It was just the Khmer Rouge. Then off to the right of me, there's hills and stuff, so it was the perfect place for them to hide, perfect place. So the villagers that are here now, they still lived here, because most weren't able to escape, right? Most weren't able to escape. They just said, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in one place and not go anywhere, because this is my land, So they just stayed and hid. Whenever there was some kind of fighting going on, they had like a bomb shelter pit that they dug out, and they would just go hide in there. And that's, it's insane to see how these people, it's kind of normal for them when they dig bomb pits and say that, I'm just going to hide here. I'm like, man, you guys aren't going to run. They're like, no, we're just going to hide here. And, because they have their animals, they have their food, their rice and everything, their water, all they need. And running is just going to make things more difficult for them. So I was like, man, that's crazy. Okay, so the experience that I had, right? Supernatural experience. When I first came to Cambodia, right? I remember I used to hang out, with like other expats and stuff. We had like some women with us. We were going to a place. We were like, hey, let's go fishing somewhere, And we asked one of the women, like, a place to go fishing at? And she was like, sure, So it's a bit a little further out of Phnom Penh, towards where it's called Chiang Ai, I think. That's close to the killing fields, right? So the killing fields is like a little bit out of Phnom Penh, but there was like a pond out there. And me, I'm arrogant, I didn't really care about all that superstitions. I didn't really care that all that stuff was, real or not. So we went out to this pond and we were fishing. We had some women with us, we were just having a good time. We were drinking and stuff. And so out in the pond, we were fishing, and then I had to go take a piss, right? So, you're out there in nature, so there's no bathroom or anything, just woods and stuff, So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take a piss. So I went out towards like some, like kind of wooded area, and I looked, and there was like a big, giant termite mound, It was big, it was huge, maybe like a meter high, maybe 1.5 meters, And I was like, man, that thing is big. But then on top of the termite mound there was like a shrine, where it looks like like a pagoda. It's a little tiny pagoda thing, but it's there to pay respect to, whatever. And I saw it. I took a piss right in front of it, Took a piss right in front of it, and I was like, whatever, Then I asked one of the women. I was like, I pointed at it. I was like, what the hell is that, I was like, what the hell is that thing? And she looked at it, she's a local girl, and she goes, don't say anything. Don't talk about it, And I was like, what do you mean, And I pointed at it again. I was like, what the hell is that thing? Why is it there, And she's like, she said to me, there's something there. There's a spirit that's protecting it. It belongs to that spirit. So leave it alone. Don't talk about it. Pretend that it's not there. And I just laughed at her. I was like, whatever, I don't care. I don't believe in that stuff, So I went back to fishing. And about 5 minutes later, right, I swear to God, this is not a lie, okay? 5 minutes later, the hand that I used to point at that thing, this palm right here, my right hand, felt like it was on fire. Like it just started burning for no reason. And just the palm of my hand here, and it started swelling up, like bright red, like something, like I got stung by something, And it was just burning. And I was like, what the hell? And that girl who I asked, about what that thing was, she looked at it. She was like, it's time to leave, And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it's time to leave. Let's go, okay? And I was like, all right. So I, told the other guys, like, hey, man, it's time to go, man. There's something wrong with my hand, And while we were leaving, the girl, she apologized to that shrine and said, we're sorry for disrespecting your area. We are leaving, And so she told me to do the same thing. She told me to apologize, And I said, I'm sorry, Yeah, really, And when we got onto the motorbikes to leave, as soon as we left the area, my hand got better. As soon as we left, right? As soon as we left, my hand just stopped hurting, that burning sensation was just gone, And after that day, I'm telling you, never again will I disrespect the land here, because that was like a really, like a good lesson for me to, like really pay attention to the way of the people, the way of the locals. When they say you have to respect the land, look at things with a good heart, don't be rude and stuff like that. And from that day on, never again will I disrespect the land. Okay. Yeah. So the reason why I want to talk about that is because when we found this, and I thought about like, man, this place was an active war zone not too long ago, right? Yeah. So it kind of goes back to when we were building this house, right? When we built this house, we had to ask permission. We had to give an offering to the spirits of this land, whichever spirits were protecting this land. We were asking for safety and just to have permission to live here peacefully. And so we gave a roasted chicken, we did the blessings with the monks and everything. And we had, we asked for permission to live here, and we were able to live here peacefully. But another thing is, I'll show you this thing right here. This is a water pump right here. So here in the countryside, we don't have running water. We don't have tap water. This water pump here, there's a pipe that goes down 30 meters underground. So there's water underground, right, down 30 meters. So we pump water from there into this container here, and from that container it goes into the house, and we use it to do dishes, do laundry, the toilet and everything. It comes from here. So the thing about this part right here where the people decided to drill the hole is that right before we started building, my dad, he was here. He was here and he knew that we had intentions to build. And so he did the same thing. He asked for permission. He asked for safety and protection for us to live here peacefully. And he never told us. He never told us that he did that. But he came right here to this spot where this water pump is. And what he did was he asked for permission for us to live here. And there was a termite mound right here, right exactly where he asked for permission. So according to my dad, he used to be a monk when he was younger. He understands all that stuff. He understands all the superstitions and everything. So he knows that wherever there's a termite mound, it means that there's water there, and also that there's a spirit that protects the land. So he asked for permission right there. And then when the people came to drill the hole or to put the pipe in for the underground well, it's exactly at the same spot. So yeah, I believe in all that stuff now because of what I experienced. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, especially to all my Khmer Americans who are interested about Cambodia and want to come and visit. I can't say enough. I can't express, like everything that I'm going through, all the experiences that I'm having. It's like I'm feeling like I'm waking up to a lot of things. So I can't, I can only share with you guys whatever it is, but then you would have to come and experience it for yourself, to meet with your relatives, your family, seeing everything for yourself, experiencing it, the different smells, the different aromas, waking up in the morning, hearing like the rooster, walking through the woods, all those different experiences. You'll have to experience it for yourself, then you'll understand. I think there's a lot of like Khmer Americans who come visit for their first time. They'll say like, man, it's so difficult, it's so hot, this and that. But then once they get back home, they're like, man, I can't wait to visit again. Like they had a terrible experience, but then for some reason, they always want to come back and experience it again. Yeah, so there's something about, the motherland when you come and visit and experience it that you just, you feel attached to it, All right, guys, that's just what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.